Am I audible? Oh, great. Yes, I am. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle a little, walk around. While we wait for rest of the 50% of our panel, they're all walking in. Yes, there we've got Nirmalaya. Okay, so we're still waiting for two of our friends. They are on the way. Brilliant. So, yep, I do I see? Wow, the lights typically make you blind, even blinder when you're standing. Okay, so while we wait for everyone to come, let me introduce myself. I'm Vivek. I represent a brand called Being Human Clothing. We are a clothing line with a heart. And I'm going to stop my pitch right there because I can see a ticker on the screen, and my other two friends are here as well. All right. So the topic is very interesting, a marriage between digital first and legacy organizations. And we debated a lot about the term legacy organizations because legacy organization is something which is built over years. And what's legacy today was a new org many years back. And what's the new org today that we see a lot of it on our panel is going to be legacy tomorrow, I'm sure. So without further ado, I would request everyone to introduce yourself once, a little bit about your organization, and then we'll get into the conversation, starting with you, sir.
My name is Bharat. I run a brand called Nirmalaya. We currently collect flowers from close to 400 temples in Delhi, and we manufacture incense products, and we also sell aroma oils and ethers. We were there also on Shark Tank season 2, and we are an omni-channel brand selling online and offline both.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Rishabh. I head D2C business for Jockey India. Quickly about company, I think Jockey needs no introduction. I'm pretty sure most of you here might be wearing Jockey. So uh, other than that, just to keep additional information which is new for a lot of us, that Jockey is no more a men's innerwear brand. It has expanded its portfolio to various categories, and like it's a family brand now, men, women, kids, everyone, and various categories like innerwear, outerwear, leisure, uh, sports, everything. Yeah, over to you.
So I'm Neerja Lakhani. I'm the co-founder of Innersense. So we are a sustainable lingerie brand in a horde of in this huge, massive lingerie market. There's this some one missing piece that we saw, a gap in the market that everybody is talking about style or fit or anything to do with color, all those things, right? But hygiene was the missing piece. And hygiene coupled with sustainability is what we brought to the market. So that's in a sense.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Akhil Srivastava. I'm taking care of the India as a managing director, Parfait brand. So basically, Parfait is a US global brand. This brand have a special feature. This brand is basically so not a product; it's a complete solution for the plus size women lingerie. So we basically touch and give the complete solution to the plus size segment niche market where the cup start from D and it end to K. So from D to K and the band size is from 28 to 44 band size. That kind of segment we are serving as a global brand. Now we are in India almost 4.5 years, and complete business is on the e-commerce model and the D2C model. That's it.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashmeer. I represent brand DaMensch. DaMensch is a brand which was founded in 2018 by two IIT Delhi grads, Anurag and Gaurav. What DaMensch does is give you a little bit more premium than my good friend Rishabh has in Jockey. It's the touch and feel that we talk about. We are currently focusing only on men's innerwear segment, more towards sustainability, more towards innovation in the product fabric that actually, caresses the male body, because who said men don't like a little bit of love? So that's where we are, and we started as an online brand with a 100 crore ARR is how we can put it across, and now we are venturing into offline as well. As of now, we have 8 operational exclusive outlets, all focused in Bangalore. The next city for expansion is Delhi, and subsequently Mumbai, Pune, as well as Hyderabad. So we're looking at a very focused approach, looking from a product per se, trying to have sustainability to the core. We have products which are 500 days, statement T-shirts, which basically, is kind of, being very environment conscious kind of a thing. And yes, we are here. We are the next, the decade belongs to DaMensch.
Hello everyone, I am Vineet. I represent PayU here. If you are wondering what I'm doing on this panel, I'm the common connect between all my co-panelists, right? We are the payments partner. PayU is a leading payment organization. We work with more than 300,000 plus business owners to ensure their customers have a safe, reliable, and a seamless payment experience. If you have time, please do visit our stall. We're just outside this hall. Thank you.
Thank you. And what a panel to have from brands that have seen almost a century on the planet to brands that are as new as 2-year-old. And I'll come straight to Ashmeer. He took a jab at you, Rishabh. Remember that. So, Ashmeer, my question to you is: you're possibly the only homegrown men's innerwear, comfort wear brand which started digital first, now going into your own retail, multi-channel, etc. I really want you to talk about the journey because that's where the nuances lie.
So as I mentioned, we started as a D2C brand. The focus was, to understand what exactly the Indian, the Gen Z, the millennials, as we talk about, the nomenclature that will eventually come for the further generation. Everybody wants to try something new. And the same thing is with the new generation saying that I don't want to wear my, a brand which my daddy wears. Or, at least there's a product differentiation in that. It all started with their saying that, okay, if this is what is available in the current market in terms of other brands who are present, what is different? And that's where the journey started. That's where DaMensch was born. And subsequently, innovation in terms of fabric, getting something, which is different. The micromodal range that we have was, very well accepted. Specifically, if you look at from the online space as well, the e-commerce platforms that we have, the retention value, the repeat customers, buying and having a positive word of mouth for the brand itself. So that's where it all started. Obviously, when we talk about online, we are in a D2 space here. But if you look at the Indian market, there is still, that divide between online and offline. There are few brands who are very D2C specific, and that's the reason why you have 100% of their business coming from online. But wherever you want to kind of explore the Indian market, there is still a sizable, the 90% offline market which is there. While hindsight, just to answer your question, so it's like basically the brand intent is to go to that XYZ crores of business. That will definitely happen with the presence of both online and offline. What happens with the online, the innerwear business specifically is people want to try. And unless until they don't try it, they won't have a repeat purchase. That basically, while in a way, generally nobody allows trials for hygiene reasons. So we had this particular thing saying that the first one is on us, and we were able to get that first customers coming online and buying us, and that's the positive word of mouth. So when we have various offerings, like for example, if there's a trunk as a category, and you have various options in terms of the designs and the color style levels. So how do you present it to the consumers? Online, they can just swipe through it. But unless and until you touch and feel the product, the UI, UX, as we talk about, the interface is there, but the feel, the interaction with the product is not there. That's what the offline stores, and when I say offline, it includes the large format stores will eventually be the GT specific market, the trade, where the bulk of the business currently happens. Indian consumers shop at the neighborhood MBOs, the multi-brand outlets. So we're focusing on impact stores, which will give the same design language, the brand language, in terms of the look and feel of the product, as well as the way it has been displayed. So we have started there, and DaMensch, the philosophy or the strategy has been focus on a market, go deeper there, look at the number 1, number 2, number 3 position over there, and then subsequently go to other markets as such. So Bangalore was the place where we started with our review, the first store. We are having a mix of mall and high street. COVID taught a lot to all of us. Essentially what happened was, the malls shut down and only the high streets were functioning. So we have a very healthy mix of high street as well as mall stores. The next destination for us is Delhi, as I mentioned, and the other 3 cities which is there. So yeah, it's going to be a healthy mix of the online and offline, and these are going to be complementing each other. So once the product has been tried, I guess these consumers are going to back to online and buy from there. Couple of aspects in terms when you talk about CAC, the acquisition cost is very high in the online business. Each of us know about it. Offline, yes, the investment in getting up a store ready, especially if it is a company-owned, company-operated, is very high. But if you get the math right, I guess it's all about being present where the customer is. And today's customer shops everywhere, through the app, on the mobile, on the web, when they're at home, neighborhood, and you need to have the brand over there. So that's the journey, and that's what we look at. So it's going to be a full, offering across the offline and online segment.
So a very interesting 360 view, Ashmeer. There's a question. So you spoke about CAC being high, and all of us through conversations in the industry have learned that CAC is a drainer on the profitability. How is it working for you so far in terms of your channel profitability in your digital channels, whether yours or third party, and your physical channels, which is your retail and mom and pop?
I'm glad you asked that question. Uh, the first 3 stores that we opened offline have been breaking even right from the first month. I guess that speaks volume for, and I'm saying this in a gathering which is D2C. So the best part is all the gathering of knowledge happened from the online, the D2C space for us. So we can exactly say that, which pin code do we have these number of customers. But again, it's all probability. You need to again marry it with the other parameters as well.
Yes.
I come from Bangalore. We have our first stores, in Bangalore. So Marathalli would be a very hotbed for that pin code, 560103, saying that this is where we should have a store. But if anybody from Bangalore or anybody travel to Bangalore, if you go there, Marathalli to go from the left-hand side service store to the right-hand side will take 35 minutes. So why would anybody open a exclusive store over there? So the point I'm trying to make is, while we have data, we have information, it has to be looked at from all the other aspects as well. So we figured it out, specific, catchments, retail catchments area. You also have industry knowledge, the data which is already available. And basis, we did also a small trial run, when we opened our first store in Mantri Mall in Bangalore, that how many of our online consumers are coming offline. And trust me, because you want to have it a try, we sent it out, invites to 100 odd customers in the same catchment. And we were surprised to have 43 customers out of them. I know it is a small sample size, but consumers want to know what else is there. And the moment you have an offline store, it gives a lot of credibility to an online brand saying that, yes, they are present, they're here, they know where to run. And it becomes much more easier in terms of the user experience that we talk about, the look and feel. Trust me, the product, the micro modal that I was mentioning about it, the Suprema range of West, which is there, in that certain temperature in the store, the look and feel, the lighting, the product is fabulous, but everything comes out well for a consumer to feel it. So yes, while online helped us to get there, the offline is going to help better the overall economies of scale. And yeah, we're not there yet, but we'll turn profitable soon.
No, great that you spoke about using data to augment your decisions and not using data to just lead the decision. It's a very, very important point. Moving to Akhil, you represent a brand which has been there in the rest of the world and now in India as well. How do you see the difference? I'm sure you have a visibility of a playbook that plays in more matured markets. India is very different. Could you talk about that, the difference between the playbook there versus here, if there is any?
Of course, I mean, so first of all, the brand, what happened, of course, the complete, environment is D2C environment right now. But when we talk about the D2C versus the brand, so there are certain, cases, those brands, they are already established in the market, either in country, either in globally. So in their cases, the business operation model and the business execution model is very different. When somebody is planning to establish the brand, that moment business execution and operation is something different. So in our case, the Parfait is the globally brand, is the US brand, and it's almost, I think, a 16, 17-year old established brand in US and Canada and almost globally. And this brand is almost in globally, the business is doing with the B2B format. I was the one I wanted to bring this brand in India because I realized on the basis of the data, on the basis of the research, primary and secondary both, in terms of innerwear, especially for a female lingerie innerwear, the plus size segment was completely, I can say it's a complete unorganized market. The reason behind the education was the education is the biggest challenge. And when last 5 to 7 years, if you look at the way digital and social media came and the way liberty started, I mean, in terms of 4G to 5G now, so the social media and digital media, these are the platform they start bringing the very good information, very good education in front of the women. When they start browsing in terms of good content and good information, they start realizing, they understand what is the meaning of size. Because it's like lingerie and the footwear, it is almost very critical product. If the size is not fit, you can't comfortable whole day. You can't, manage yourself. So this brand, so I realized, I mean, I wanted to do this entire product solution in India as a consumer market. So that's the reason we entered in India almost 4.5 years back. We are doing business last 4 years by the online space through the e-commerce and D2C channel. But I'm just giving you very practical example and very realistic data. So last 4.5 years, we have almost 71.8% repeat customer data. Even though the business is almost 80% is e-commerce and 20% is D2C channel as a global brand. But the beauty of the business is 71.8% repeat customer. It means the product is really, the product quality is really good. The way Indian women skin, the way Indian women body size and all, it accepted very well first. Second, the way we promoted, the way we sell this product through the digital education, because right now we are not available in any physical present and all. So of course we are planning to enter in a physical store also, and once the physical store will be there, then we will enter in a physical education also. But right now we are completely going with the product, with the quality and the feature through the digital education. So what we realize, I mean, in D2C as a brand, whatever we have a DNA, whatever we have a knowledge for the consumer health, especially direct customer consumer audience, the health related, the fashion related innerwear. So I always said this is product, this is not a lingerie, this is a fashion medicine product, because this is a special segment plus size where the huge challenge as a women they are facing in the market. So in D2C, we have a good advantage also. So the way we direct connect to the customer and we explain to the right digital education, explain the right size fitting and all. So this is a good, experience from us as a brand, because we don't have to, do too much to establish the brand. We have to only deliver the brand DNA and the brand feature and the solution in the market. So that's the way.
Sounds great. Moving to Neerja, I mean, you have a very interesting brand that you run, and it's a very different take in the segment. I do not know of many brands that have pivoted the way you guys have. How does the D2C play out in spaces like these where your pivot is very sharply defined? It's a very sharp pivot, right? Sustainable
So
in
it's
a way.
not really a pivot, right? This is what we started with. When right now sustainable or sustainability is a buzzword, it's like thrown around in conversation left, right, and center, right? Everyone at least
Abused.
seems to know about it, if not really actually know about it. We've been doing this since donkey years, like before even this word was well known, or when it was called eco-friendliness. And we actually wanted to bring eco-friendliness to the market. Then we thought, when we thought of the idea of doing innerwear, we thought Indian consumer likes to talk about eco-friendly, sure, but will they pay for it? Not really. We, as Indians, are super price sensitive and also sensitive to value. मेरे लिए क्या है इसमें? You're giving to the farmer, you're giving to the environment, great, nice, way to talk about it, but I'm not happy because you're not giving me anything specifically. So we said, let's add something to give back to the actual consumer, which will be a value that they will feel. So we added bamboo to organic cotton, which created a unique fiber.
Yep.
And that is why it's sustainable, but that's sustainable is the front end or the outside, but it's also antimicrobial, anti-odor.
Yep.
And then niche down inside that and say, who would really think of that? And we would not have to do an impulse, we would not have to push for an impulse purchase, and it would be a pull from the consumer. So we went into maternity, which is a time any female becoming pregnant or starting breastfeeding would definitely need a new bra, would definitely need to change her brand, whatever she's using, because her brand is not providing those products.
Solutions, yeah.
So that's how we, like niche inside a niche inside a niche, right? So we went to that very sharp focus, and we are a profitable brand. We are small, but we are profitable since many years now. And if we talk about CACs, my CAC is so shockingly low that it's unbelievable. So
Can you throw a number that becomes people's targets here?
it's 60 bucks.
Sorry?
60 bucks.
That's the lowest I've heard.
Yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
so it works because the consumer wants it at a particular time, and it's not just a want, actually, it's a need, right? And if I'm able to provide something which fits their fit, need, style, so I'm from the fashion background, right? So we understand that no matter what, the consumer, these things are like taken for granted. It will, of course, need to be a good fit, right? Whether it's sustainable or not, fine, but it needs to be a good fit. And it needs to be the right color, it needs to be the right size. All those things are like just taken for granted. So those things, of course, we take care of. Plus, we do these added things which are our USPs. And many brands are now coming into that space. But we are like solely doing that like from A to Z. Everything from the growing of the cotton to all the production processes to the final packaging, or how we deal with the entire business also is sustainable, right? So
Amazing. So, I would just say one thing, that you have an organic product, you have organic traffic, you have a sustainable product and a sustainable business model, which is absolutely stunning. And this is something that, I mean, I would say that not many people have been able to achieve with niche and sustainability. So really, congratulations on that. And that brings me to the man with the biggest volume on this stage, Rishabh. A, a brand that transitioned from general trade to modern trade to retail to your brand.com to multiple e-commerce portals and killing it literally everywhere. How do you see the journey ahead for the brand in terms of, one is your entire multi-channel, the second is your brand.com and your direct to consumer?
So I will answer to that, but the phrase killing it, I would say killing it is the two next to me. One saying CAC 60 rupees, another saying return customer 71%. I don't know all the D2C people sitting here have ever listened to those numbers.
I just hope their bosses are not hearing it.
Exactly killing it.
Investors, at least.
Definitely. So that's exactly killing it. Whereas, yes, that's true that being a 27-year presence in Indian market, we have a huge volume. We have started from general trade to modern retail to D2C. But what I would say that is that it's all about what customer demands for. So there used to be a time when we talk about the markets, let's say century back or something, when there used to be a world where people used to love to go to travel like kilometers and sit on a hata and have all the shopkeepers used to come there, and there, let's say for a week, all shopkeepers are there, all customers are going, the complete villages are moving to one place, and they're doing shopping. That's one of the year, maybe century back or whatever. The time changes, and the same reason that when we see every generation, Gen X to Gen Y to Gen Z, this shift from general trade to focusing more on modern trade, and now the new customer coming, Gen Z, focusing more on D2C has been there. So I think equally we have been an established player. With time we have taken our space, market leader in the general trade, then followed by modern trade, and same will happen in the e-com space. Even today, if I talk about, so we are the top brand. If we talk on Amazon or Flipkart, we are one of the top sellers, the #1 jockey online also. So The same will continue. Obviously the competition will come up, things will happen. But the brand have its own affinity, brands have its own customers, they come back, they buy back. That will be there. Coming to the approach of omni-channel, yeah, we are already multi-channel and most of the brands which setting the stage are D2C or moving towards multi-channel, but omni-channel is the future. Uh, because of this confusion of omnipresent versus omni-channel, there's a new word which have come up calling it phygital, which I think is a more interesting word when we say how we are removing the boundaries of physical and digital and making it as a phygital world. So all companies, irrespective, new, old, they will move to an era which will be phygital driven, giving any consumer, any generation, a same experience across channel. Yep.
Awesome. That brings me to Bharat. I mean, this is one segment I never thought could be sold online. To be very, very frank, the products that you sell are so core, so generic to general trade market. I really want you to tell us how this journey has been. What have you learned about the consumer that many people didn't even imagine to think about before you guys did it?
So I think that's what we actually were born with. So my first conception was that since it is a product of touch and feel, and how can someone buy incense or any fragrance without smelling it? How can this be sold online? So we started in October 2020. We went online in January, February 21, and the first product that we sold online was holy colors. And then we actually came to know the potential that online business has. And after the second wave, so in the second wave, we sold our Havan cup saying that it is an air purifier because it has some healing herbs into it, which actually purifies the air. And that was a turning point for us. And we started with our online sales. Because we were a very new brand with very less capital, we had no option of going into distribution channel, and it was very difficult, and it is till date it is difficult for us to make the distributor understand how an incense stick at 3x the price of the normal product will sell. So, but still there are modern trade stores and premium puja stores who buys our product in the offline segment. And now D2C is a necessity for us because we cannot, like, obviously with the increasing customer acquisition cost, though we very much focus on keeping it at, so for example, my average order value on website is around 800, and our customer acquisition cost is around 200, 220. So with that high customer acquisition cost, it is difficult for us to be economically sustainable online. But yes, we are growing, and especially the festive seasons prove very good for us. We have received, I think, the highest order value, highest order value that we have received online is around 28,000 for a single order.
That's not bad.
So, so online has been quite eye-opening for me as well because, and now we'll be moving towards offline, and we are in process of creating our offline D2C channel where we'll be pitching, you can say, the big trusts or state governments on recycling of flowers. So we'll be pitching them that we'll recycle your flowers, and you allow us to sell the products in the temple itself because that's the best sales point we'll ever have. And while going out or while going in, consumers can buy incense and use that. And that will enable us to set up our offline D2C channel. So that's how it is.
Awesome. So I'll come back to this. You opened up a thought in my mind, which is about supply chain being different.
Yeah.
But before we get to the supply chain, Vineet, you work with everyone. So with you, my question is more stargazing, like we were speaking. In last 5 to 7 years, I would say 5 years, thanks to demonetization, people moved from physical currency to more cards, more wallets, and then COVID made sure that a serious chunk of transactions moved to UPI. So there's a certain mix of COD, and I'm talking about digital as well as physical transactions in our kind of space. There's a certain mix of cash and delivery, certain mix on or cash at store. a certain mix of cards, and certain mix of UPI, right? It's balanced in a certain manner right now. How do you see that changing? And if I were to sort of throw back another point that I would want you to comment on is, if you were to stargaze, close your eyes and think about next 3 years, do you see this getting disrupted again?
Sure. Thanks, Vivek. But before I get into the answer, I appreciate your thought. I have kept me last in the pecking order. Payments come last, right? Uh, let me try to give a good checkout experience, right? So I believe the next set of entire payments value chain will be built on transactional data, right? If I use the D2C lingo, no one size fits all. Same will happen with payments, right? It's no standard payment stack which will cater to everybody on the stage. Basic transaction data, we should be able to identify the payment modes, the right kind of transaction, fraudulent transaction. I think that's the future lies, right? So you have seen the advent of wallet. You have seen then UPI, Demon, COVID has really changed the payment landscape. I think next will be primarily data driven. I think Ashmeer touched upon that topic about and how data will impact payments. So my take is one, next value chain will be transaction data led. If I look at form factors, right? Form factors in payments language, wallet or a UPI, personally, I'm excited about two things. One, the entire credit being built on UPI rails is most talked about, right? That UPI credit. That will be a disruption. That's my personal take on that. And the second, which is like at a very, very initial stage, is entire CBDC, that digital currency. Very, very initial days. But if I look at Stargaze in next 3 to 5 years, that will be like another big disruption. What you've seen in the wallet, I think digital currency will completely take over not only the country but the world. That's on the form factor. Uh, Another thing which I look and which requires a lot of work by the payments company, working with the business owners like here, everybody here is building for global markets. And the biggest pain point in getting to global markets, payments. There's a lot of friction in that payments, global payment. I think sooner or later, maybe next few years, the global payments will become seamless. So a lot of efforts being put in by entire ecosystem players. We are trying to make that entire global payment frictionless, but I think a lot of work to be done on that front. So that's the next thing which is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. Payments across the globe will be seamless and real time. You heard about India-Singapore corridor, right? On the payments corridor, real-time payments. It will happen across the globe. But what also worries me, with so much of digital touch point, digital payments, what will also impact D2C brands is that entire fraudulent transactions. You just heard about the RBI report a few days back. The amount of fraud transactions which has happened in the internet economy is insane. So 3 to 5 years, a lot of investment will go by the business owners and the payments guy on to solving for that, to restrict or identify the fraudulent transactions, stop that, and find a cure for that. I think that, so that entire experience of prepaid payment COD, people are solving for it. We also solving for it. We are making more and more payments mode available. We are building data insights model to give the right kind of payment experience. We are working with the business owners to solve for fraud, and then the global payments. Last may not be really payment related, which Neerja spoke about, that entire ESG factor. We are seeing a trend. One of my colleague Vishesh is here. He's been thinking on a model. How can we make that entire payment transaction at the end of checkout phase maybe a carbon neutral, right? As a consumer, the next gen, they'll be very, very sensitive about ESG. So I think that will be another big play in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's my take. Quite a few things, but that's why I think that payment systems will evolve.
Very interesting. And I just hope that consumers don't look for what's in it for me in carbon neutral, like Neil just said. So, one of the points that you spoke about, which was about disrupting supply chain or actually getting the raw material supplier spot to become a seller for you. I think one of the things that has happened with advent of a lot of young, small, interesting businesses is that the traditional methods of supply chain have been questioned. So if a certain product had a certain lead time, I'm talking about the rear end of the supply chain first, that's getting questioned, that do you really need this many days? That's first. Second is front end of the supply chain, that do you really need to hold this much at your store? Can you not hold less and sort of consolidate inventory and then sort of service consumer needs? All of that. Now, here is a question, and this is open for any of you who would wish to take, is that what are the changes that you're seeing, and not necessarily in your current operating businesses, something that you've seen recent past, some example that you've seen in the transformation on the rear end of supply chain? Anybody who would like to take that up?
So just
Rishabh.
quickly on the starting note of it. See, as I was saying, any supply chain, uh, it should be consumer focused. Where direct to consumer, we started with talking about direct to consumer on the online space. Any store which is on COCO model, which is company operated, company owned, company operated, is also direct to consumer.
It is?
The idea is that you do not have the middle parties. So any supply chain today, industry to industry, the strategy can be very different. It should be how where you are there where the customer is. वो Vodafone का एक jingle था, I don't remember it exact.
Wherever you go,
हाँ, wherever you are.
a pug used to follow. Yeah.
So that's the most famous single, right? So it's something like that. I think the D2C space have come from that only. That companies are focused where the consumer is and just trying to be there.
So that's on the front end of the supply chain, really. So my question was, I promised you guys some curveballs, and this is one of them. Is do you in your businesses or businesses that are linked to you, are you seeing the approach to rear end of the supply chain change? So let me give you an example. Industrial revolution meant that people owned factories first and then they manufactured their own products and they sold. Over a period of time, as businesses grew, people started outsourcing manufacturing, right? With D2C coming in, are you guys seeing any change there? Is there a hybrid model that's getting developed? Is there a risk hedging that's happening between a brand and the manufacturing end of the supply chain and so on?
I think, Vivek, I mean, just a very small input from my end, what my understanding say. So there is a one aspects introduced in this entire D2C, the customization
Yeah.
start happening. In terms of the supply chain management, if you look at the transparency very much start clearer because of the digital. The entire supply chain now very much focused with the customer point of view and the merchant point of view. And the customization in terms of the packaging and the volumetric and the couple of options where the how the company can save some money in terms of the packaging or in terms of the supply chain cost. So they start giving certain good dimension option. So I'm just giving a very basic input,
yeah,
but this start helping to D2C because I'm just giving example. My product is the weight is, let's say one bra weight is not more than 200 gram, but the problem is the bra size is bigger. So the dimension is bigger and the logistic cost become a higher. So these kind of, when we start facing the problem, so the supply chain and the, these kind of partners, they once they realize these kind of, the product coming in a different way and different shape, so they start coming in the customization of the costing, customization of the delivery, and the customization of the very much clear transparency, like tracking the order. So this is also, I think I realize in D2C, I personally feel everyone want to, let's track the order. Where is the order? Everyone, even just in a WhatsApp and all. I think these are the small input. I can see the.
So you're saying, yeah, Vismo is getting more and more where is my order is really key, because that's one thing that sort of puts to rest the consumer that my order is coming.
Right.
And
That's
it's
the most important point actually. Where is my order? So in the whole customer buying experience online, if we just break it down, and in terms of time spent, so on while purchasing, spending a time on a mobile app or a M-Web or a website is like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour. That's maximum. Like and that's also in bits and pieces. But post order, the time which happens when till the time it is not delivered to you, that's the most biggest gap we have today. So two things is one on the side of that how all brands, I'm pretty sure where we even talk omni-channel, digital, anything, the first target is to reduce that time from like 4 days. We have already reached the supply chain is there to make it for 2 days or maybe one next day. Now it is more about 4 hours, a slotted delivery or something. So that's one, and second is the most important part is the communication within that. So if you don't communicate with your consumer between those 1 day or 2 day, whatever your delivery time is, you may just the consumer is sitting and thinking kab aayega, calling a customer care to ask, going on an app to check again. So most important that you communicate there. I was catching up with friends outside Bytespeed and all. So they have the whole system where they send WhatsApp at the packing stage and others. That's the way you keep your customer excited that your package is coming.
Yeah, if you don't communicate enough, you end up losing them. And one very interesting thing I would like to share, that when you order on Amazon, the level of clarity that you have on where your product is amazing. And if you wish to speak to someone on phone on Amazon, that's the most difficult thing to do. And trust me, it takes a lot to find that phone number. You can.
Recent experience, so I will agree.
And irrespective of how much money like quick commerce startups are burning, the reason is like impulse purchase or quick delivery that they are living on, and because people need delivery within 10 minutes.
True. Can't agree more.
And,
Can't
and
agree more.
that too they are checking. And one more thing that they have recently developed is pushing a notification from my gate to pre-approve the entry of the person who is coming in.
Yeah.
So so that's how it is developing.
So this I want it right here, right now is, so one of the primary reasons why people still go to physical stores is that, I'll see it, I'll try it, if I
Yeah.
like it, I buy it and it comes back with me. And hopefully this faster delivery will actually make us all, and stores won't die, stores will probably become another point of delivery, another point to ship goods from. Yes, you wanted to say something,
So
Ashmeer.
I just wanted to, kind of share some experience or, some trial that DaMensch did. Uh, we did it only for a couple of months, and this was specifically from, having dark stores, just as, FMCG has. And these were done primarily in Bhiwandi, in Mumbai, and, Delhi, as well as Bangalore. So any order that was, kind of placed before 12, it was same day delivery by 4 o'clock. So the customer started, asking next what, Domino's, the 30 minutes, yeah, free. So the intent is what does the customer want? So if tomorrow that is what, the consumer is actually looking at it, again, it depends upon what the product is. So while we had that in a trial phase, then the expectations go beyond. And when we look at more profitable and sustainable business, I guess these are ones to be tried out. Uh, when you bifurcate this question into two parts, one is the supply chain at the back end from manufacturer. If you're not manufacturing and you're outsourcing it, how soon can you get it? That gets into the demand forecasting aspect, that how close can you utilize the data that you have to know your bestsellers. It helps when the offering is much lesser, but if you are in a wide array, or the SKUs go beyond a certain number, then it is very difficult. You have a lot of softwares now that predict, but it's just like a beer game that many of us would have played during our management. It's very difficult to predict what the market is going to respond to, because there are a lot of variables. So having said that, this can be broken down into two parts. The demand forecasting would help you to kind of have it at your warehouse, and subsequently the front end is much more easier because there are a lot of companies who have tried that, and again, it's cost benefit analysis that you look at. So if the customer is ready to pay more, why not? There are brands who say that if you want to return the product, they'll charge you so much. So why don't you come and return it at the store? There's no cost. So there's a lot of cost benefit analysis that goes.
In fact, just to add to that, a retail brand which is based out of Mumbai, not mine, disclaimer, is they started doing something very interesting. So they said that if you bought online and you choose to return the product or exchange the product, if you walk into one of our stores and do that, you get incentivized for doing it.
Right.
And this initiative actually not just reduced the logistic cost, but every time the consumer went to the store to exchange or return, they bought 2 pieces more and came back. So that was very, very good revenue. So okay, we've got about a little bit of time left before we go to the audience. Here is a quick one for each of you. So there is currently, as we see it, there is pure play e-commerce or digital commerce business. There's pure play physical businesses, and then there is a hybrid phygital business that's developing. Each of you, in one word, what's your take on where do you see the environment today being the best, as in the greenest? When I say the greenest, I'm a Marwadi at heart, not by But I want to know from you and the way you see it, where is it greenest from a perspective of P&L and L and your shareholder value as well? So starting from you, Bharat.
So I think making the brand online and then to grow the sales moving offline. So there has to be like a mix of both the channels, because yes, D2C is expensive after a certain point of time. So yes, building the brand
Yes,
online.
you're saying phygital.
Yeah, physical.
Yeah, I have said couple of times.
Yes,
Still,
so yeah.
so very clear.
A little longer than one word. I would say initially it's much better to just start with e-commerce because you just spread out everywhere immediately. Like I
Yes.
go live on Amazon, I'm available everywhere, 19,000 pin codes. Later, but then for scale, you have to go physical also. So
Vivek, I mean, for me also it's a physical, but I can say it's a hybrid. It should be because hybrid is a realistic, because ultimately, COVID came, then suddenly D2C become a like, so one side COVID came and then another when D2C expand, then suddenly another virus came free. Everyone want free delivery, free this, free pizza, like this is also one another virus,
True.
free word, right? So what I suggest, I mean, hybrid is a really right, is my understanding, but same time, it's depend on the business and solution. So if we are in a product, either if we are in a services, it depend what kind of services I'm going to deliver, either if what kind of product I'm going to deliver. So it depends. Some product maybe it's really good to launch initially in the online and then after enter in the offline. But some product maybe is going together on the same platform, and some product maybe is initially launched in the physical footprint and then after that enter in an online space. So I think it's a kind of, again, customization is a one word, right, for the launch, and second is a hybrid is the, I think, right way for a coming tomorrow feature.
Seems like a.
You said one word, it is symbiotic. It is symbiotic. So basically, you kind of launch it online, as fellow panelists are mentioning. There's a reason, a rationale to it. You already know the market catchments, and we're walking the talk at DaMensch. So you know where it is. Like, you'll be surprised. We looked at Mumbai and Pune. Mumbai obviously is a choice, but Pune and not a Chennai, because we know that the kind of acceptance of the brand in Chennai is lesser than when you compare to Pune. And Pune has the same kind of a demographic setup like Bangalore. Youngsters coming because both cities have educational institutes or IT kind of a thing, and people are coming in. So that really helps. So it would be more about in offline segment before D2C would be there. You'd look at a market, target it, not Kerala, because Kerala works the other way around as India functions. So you look at a kind of a city, go deeper, or could be just try it out for a limited you can say targeted consumers who fly, just the test marketing, and then you go all out. So online gives you that place. You can actually kind of align those offerings in particular pin codes, see what the traction is, and then go offline if you feel that the offline is much more better in terms what at DaMensch what we're trying to do it. So yeah, symbiotic is the word.
Awesome. Vineet, we come to the cash till right at the end.
The time consumer makes a digital payment, I'm indifferent. It's physical or digital. He should make a digital payment. That's it.
Sure. Fair. So the word seems like you can begin anywhere, but at the end of the day, you'll have to find a hybrid solution because the consumer's everywhere. And that's one thing that I hear unanimously for everyone from each of these very, very accomplished fellow panelists of mine. So here are two things we'll do. We will open up for questions from the audience, but before that, we will ask some questions from you, and there are chances for you to win some goodies from being human. Yeah? So are you guys in for that? 3 people, 3 questions, and you can answer more than one, get it right, and it's yours. None of the panelists are allowed to answer. I'm sure Vineet knows the answers. Question number first is, when was the first legit online purchase ever made on this planet? I didn't see. You can't Google it. Okay, can someone reach her mic, please?
Was it on eBay?
Nope. Anyone else? Give me a year. Throw a number. Sorry, it was way before that. Somebody said 95.
93, 94 here.
Who said 93, 94?
Yeah. Here, back. Right.
Awesome. Do you really know about it or it's a guess?
I think I've read about it, but I don't remember the.
Okay, you win it. Do you know what was sold?
I think it was online space or a domain or something.
No, it was a CD of Sting on a marketplace called Net Market. It was on August 11, 1994. So who's got, could you please pass that on? While this gets passed on, question number 2 has 2 questions. You get 1 right or you get 2 right. Either ways, you can win, but only one will win. So when was the first e-commerce company on this planet started? First e-commerce company on the planet. Give me a year, don't even tell me the name. And then the follow-up is, when was the first of India that started? First e-commerce company ever on the globe, and then first e-commerce company of India. You want to answer? 1989. Okay. On the globe? Since you have Googled it, tell me the name if you have. No, you're right. And which is the first e-commerce company of India? You want to take a shot at that? Year? Okay, what's the name of the company? Okay, you can look at your phone again. That's called FabMart. It's rebranded as Indiaplaza.com, so the lady here wins it. See, I didn't say you can't Google, so that was open. Now the third question. I think this is very, very easy. Which is the largest, in terms of revenue, D2C site in India? This is very easy. Who said IRCTC first? Okay, there you go, sir. Do you know what the revenue was last year? 3,541 crores to be precise. That was the IRCTC website revenue, and that's the largest today in India as a pure play D2C e-commerce site. There are e-commerce sites that have a much, much higher revenue, but these guys sell only their own tickets, remember? So that was the 3 questions, so please pass that on. And my applause to all of you, applause to the panel. The screen says time is up. If I can take the liberty and open up for 1 question maybe, if we can't be thrown. Karunesh, if that's okay. I know you're next.
Back here, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I represent VIP Industries. We are one of the biggest luggage makers in India and world, obviously. The thing is that moving to online or D2C has been a very arduous journey for us, mainly because one of the questions you asked, supply chain. We are a mammoth company that has been set up for moving tons of luggage around India. So the nimble feeding that D2C needs is missing. And I would ask Rishabh, because they are in a similar space with higher SKU numbers, and how do they plan or strategize across providing consumers with that fast delivery when it comes to D2C space?
Okay. So I can't see you there, so I've just seen the face there. I think lights are very sharp into my eyes. Okay. So I would say when it comes to Jockey, they were very proactive in planning towards D2C space, whereas definitely the focus have changed with COVID, post-COVID. But it was there. It's like more than a decade Jockey.in exists. So the whole Jockey as a company has focused from way behind, have been into planning and currently into a good space of customer and delivery. So can you just put the last part again? Was it around the logistics? Like what exactly you're looking for?
Yeah. So how you strategize your, so probably we have probably 10% of what SKUs you have. The demand and supply, or you had a peculiar, like the panel discussed about quickest delivery to the consumer for consumer experience. How do you get to that consumer experience with such large stock, MOQ issues, and stocking in different warehouses across India?
See, I believe any problem problem means there is a solution, and if this is a problem, the way we have solved is technology. In D2C, the first thing is your backbone should be strong. The backbone means your OMS and WMS. The more clearer way your WMS warehouse is managed, like half the game is won. The most chances that if you have proper systems to manage your warehouse, you know it's not a mingle inventory, you have pigeonholes separately for each every SKU. It's clear, your guys know order I have from where to pick it, from which pigeonhole to pick it is just on a fly. You need not training, no education need to given. It's all about just a scan, order came, there's a mapping to a pigeonhole, the person will go to the pigeonhole, scan it and pick it, done. Then the whole technology from end to end, the WMS, OMS, the logistics, the courier tracking, all you have to play there, have to make that as a strength. And in fact, first, before focusing towards the consumer facing, especially for companies like either Jockey or any enterprise or a legacy brand, which we generally say, that is the best approach, because you will get your consumer, you will get orders, but if you do not fulfill them in time or with accuracy, there is a lot to lose, because it's a brand value which is already there. You can't lose that for one or two or few orders. So yeah, fixing up your backend systems, the technology, bringing in the technology piece to that is the solution.
Cool. Thank you so much. You have more you can discuss with the panelists offline. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. And you've been a very patient audience. Time's been up. We should.